92-83, Colorado with the victory over BYU. This is our post-game wrap-up brought to you by the Blake Street Tavern. Here with Patrick Ghidossi. Patrick, this was a game where it looked like they had a chance to put together that elusive 40-minute game, but then midway through the second half, they got a little lackadaisical with the ball. As Tad Boyle said, there was a stretch there with 8 possessions where they had 6 turnovers. All of a sudden, a 25-point lead gets cut down to 10.
Yeah, it happened pretty quick. BYU was a little cold in the first half, so you kind of knew they were going to make some shots in the second frame. But yeah, the Buffs didn't help themselves during that stretch. They gave the ball away. They didn't close out as well. They let BYU make some shots. And Tad didn't call a timeout as soon as some would have him call one. It's another one of those runs that he kind of let go. BYU puts together, I think, an 18-3 run total there. And they pulled themselves back in it, and they did the same thing against Utah, but the Buffs were able to hold on and keep them at bay. They never got within closer than 8, I think, at the end. It definitely should have been a win by a larger margin, but at the end of the day, the Buffs held on and they maintained their composure throughout that onslaught.
But yeah, as Tad Boyle said, this is a quality BYU team. This is going to be a team that's going to win a lot of basketball games this season, and they really made them work for basically everything they got for most of the game. There were, again, that lull in the game. But we saw in the first half, Torrey Miller and Xavier Talton both really have a big contribution. Those guys tonight combined for 7 of 10 shooting. Tad Boyle said that was one of the big differences in the first half.
That was the most quality minutes we've seen out of Xavier Talton in 2 seasons, probably. Torrey Miller was composed. He's finishing at the rim. He was there on defense. If he can provide that for the Buffs, that's a big boost off the bench as a third point guard. If he can come in and make that three, a couple threes, defend and take care of the ball, like he said in the press conference, then he's an asset for this team, and he's already a senior leader. So if they can get bench minutes like that going into the Pac-12 schedule, that's only going to help them. It's going to make them more dangerous.
And of course, Josh Scott was Josh Scott again.
As usual.
I tweeted out, at what point do we start talking about this as a potential All-American candidate? I'll be lying if I say I know what every other big man in the country is doing, but it's hard to imagine any big man has been as efficient as him so far this season. Andrew Hobner, a student reporter, looked it up. He's shooting 69% from the field when you take out that Iowa State game, which he struggled obviously to start the season. That's
incredible. I think the All-American buzz should start, once conference play comes. If they get SMU in Vegas, that'll be like their last really big game of non-conference. So I think he'll start to get more national attention once the conference slate starts. But Josh Scott's been everything Buff fans wanted him to be. He's the senior, he's the leader of this team, and he's kind of gets whatever he wants right now, essentially.
And it's not easy. I mean, you see BYU is double-teaming him on the catch tonight. It's like he's really figured out how to play with that double team and all the attention other teams are giving him.
And that's been the most crucial thing for me, too, is West, too, is playing better in the post from being doubled. Last year, that killed them. They couldn't get the ball out of doubles. A lot of turnovers were created, but Josh is much more composed. He's much more confident. I think that all has to do with him being healthy this year. He's certainly been the same Josh that we are accustomed to seeing, and a better Josh. He's fully healthy and confident.
Now, this was the best crowd we've seen at the Coors Event Center so far this season. It could have been better, though, and Tad Boyle alluded to that in his press conference. He continues to go out of his way to thank the people that are actually showing up, but he says they need to get this building sold out, which I would agree with when you consider the fact this is a really fun basketball team to watch.
Yeah, they score points. This is their third game over 90, I think. It's come out and see this team play. It's the student section was probably 3/4 full tonight, which is pretty good considering all the factors going into tonight. But I am not worried about it. I expect this building to get to the level it was at in 2012, 2013 when the Pac-12 slate rolls around. This team makes buckets. They do exciting things. They play incredible defense down low. You're gonna get some special moments this season in conference play. So I think the building will start to fill up come January.
7-1, that one loss against a top 15 team in Iowa State. What kind of concern would you have if you're a Colorado fan at this stage?
My only concern would be certain lapses like the run tonight that BYU had. They do have to put together a 40-minute game. They're gonna have to do that to beat some of the teams in the Pac-12 going forward. It's hard to find too many concerns besides perimeter defense and down low they're solid. Josh and Wes are rock solid, and they're gonna win this team a lot of games that maybe they wouldn't have won last year. With their presence down low. If the guard play can stay at the level it's at, if Dom, continues to make smart decisions and handle the ball well, then the sky's the limit for this team in conference play.
All right, again, Colorado 92, BYU 83, signing off from the Coors Event Center.